Hello everyone. So today we have a very interesting topic, consumer and organizational buying behavior. This topic is from the course of business to business marketing. So we'll talk about consumer and buying behavior. We have been discussing about consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is more important. It is more pertinent when we talk about approaching to the consumer, to the direct user directly. But when we talk about organizational buying, then the buying behavior is very different from the consumer buying behavior. So we'll discuss about that. So while discussing, we'll try to cover these objectives, define the nature of business to business marketing, business to business buying behavior and market, explain the difference between business to business buying and consumer purchase behavior, recognize the different types of buying decisions, define the different stages of the buying business buying process, describe the buying center concept and the determinants of influence within the buying center, and then we'll talk about understanding the nature of government, reseller, institutional market. So we'll proceed now, and in this discussion, I will cover this topic in two different videos. So in first video, we'll talk about nature, characteristics, importance of the business to business marketing, buying behavior. We'll talk about buying decisions, factor affecting organizational buying decision making process, development in purchasing practices, and buying center. And in the second part, we'll talk about B2B buying process, and we'll also discuss about differentiating B2B and B2C buying behavior. Now, nature of buying behavior. So this is the basics of business to business buying behavior or business marketing. When we talk about business to business buying behavior, it refers to the decision making and other activities of organization as a buyer. In B2B marketing, we deal with the customer, not with the consumer. Now, business to business buying behavior is the selection of suppliers or the vendor. Now, let's quickly talk about different types of organization or different type of the market in B2B marketing. First category is the business firm. They are engaged in the commercial activities. They are the organization, they are the OEMs also, they are the manufacturers. Then we have government markets, government agencies, and we have third categories reseller markets. They are involved in the reselling activities. They are like market intermediaries. They may be wholesaler, they may be retailer, they may be dealer also. And we have fourth category, which is institutional market. So they are the institutions involved in the different activities. Largely they are into non-commercial activities. When we talk about institutional marketing, for example, hospital, any religious organization, any NGO, or even educational institution, these are the examples of institutional market. Now, nature of business to business buying behavior. Business to business buying, consumer buying. In case of consumer buying, they use the products for their own consumption, which is not the case in B2B marketing. The product is not finally consumed. In case of B2B marketing, different types of products, different types of raw materials are assembled or combined, incorporated to develop finished goods, finished product. Now, what are the different purposes? The different types of items or the products or the goods or the raw material that are used in B2B marketing, they are further used for incorporation, consumption, use, or resale, which is not in the case of B2C marketing. In case of consumer marketing, whatever activities are done, whatever value addition is done in terms of product manufacturing, product development, or service development, everything is done for the end users to be consumed for the consumers. So as discussed in the previous slide about the different types of business market, we have largely four categories. One is businesses or producers, second is resellers, third is government, and fourth is institution. So when we talk about businesses or producers or reseller, they are largely involved in the commercial activities, which is not the case with government departments or the institutions. Now let's discuss about different types of business markets in detail. So we are talking about four types of business markets. So first category is for the businesses or the commercial, the organizations or the producers. These are the companies including manufacturer as well as service provider that purchases goods and services and transform them into product for sales. So these types of organizations are involved into commercial activities. When we talk about an example, we can consider example of organization uh, manufacturing car, making car, manufactures steel or different spare parts. Similarly, a restaurant operating in a location in a town may require different types of raw material, different types of products, semi-finished goods, or items like groceries, vegetable, food, beverages, fruits, etc. to offer their services. Now, second category is government market. So when we talk about government, maybe federal, state, or local government organization, these different departments also require different types of goods, services, items to ensure that they 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 run properly, they function properly. The government market is the largest in the world. Different countries have different departments. They run different governments and require different types of raw materials, semi-finished goods to ensure that their day-to-day activities are properly executed. Third category is for the reseller market. These reseller are the example or the part of market intermediaries. These resellers are involved in the further distribution of goods and services from one place, one point to other point, other location. So in case of some specialty items, licensing criteria are also required. So these types of resellers may be sometimes importing. They may be engaged in the import of some raw material or some dangerous goods also, and they are licensed or they are approved, authorized by the government also to import these types of items, and then further they resell these items to the manufacturer, or sometimes they may act as a agent also, sales agent also. Now fourth category is for the institutional market. These institutional markets are generally not engaged in the commercial activities, or so-called non-profit organizations also. They may be hospitals or any education institution also, or maybe religious or non-religious organizations also. Now there are certain ethical issues also involved. Ethical issues like ethics is, when we talk about ethics in B2B marketing, it comes to it's a very important relevant issue when we talk when we go for negotiation and transaction, because we deal with the bulk quantity. We have a selected client, and as a buyer also, when we are looking for any supplier, we have so many options, so many alternatives, and everybody is ready to offer good quality of product as raw material services at a good prices also. And then there are certain ethical issues that need to be considered, maybe related to bribery also. Gifts from vendor to people are involved in the decision making is many times it is being offered also. So these are the certain issues that are related in B2B marketing. Fairness, honesty, and trust should influence all negotiations and selection of suppliers and vendor. When we talk about ethical issues in B2B marketing, it is equally applicable for the supplier as well as the buyer. Now let's further discuss more about organizational buying behavior. So when we talk about buying behavior, the organizational buying behavior need to be uh, considered. There are three different types of element we need to understand. First is the structure, second is the process, and third is the content. Like structure means who is going to buy, then process involves how a organization is going to buy any raw material, any purchase, going for any purchases. And third is the content, or the value, what they want to purchase, what they want to buy. So when we talk about this buying behavior, organizational buying behavior, three elements are important: structure, process, and content. Who is going to buy, how they are going to buy, and what they are going to buy, what they want to buy. So further, if we discuss about this into more detail, when we talk about the person who is going to buy, the department is the entire organization. When we talk about B2B buying behavior, buying is not done by a single person. The single person or the decision maker may be authorized by the organization to buy, but the entire department or the entire organization makes the purchases. And when we talk about how, so there is a process involved, decision making process. It is the pattern of information gathering, getting information, analyzing, evaluating, and decision making, which takes time also, and which takes place as the purchasing organization moves towards a decision. So over a period of time, this decision is being taken. It's not like consumer decision making process where generally a single individual is involved. Although in case of consumer buying also there are so many factors that creates a that impacts the decision making process, but it is very different from B2B. Now when we talk about third point, what a organization going to buy, it is about the content, what that may be a raw material, that may be any product, any semi-finished goods also. Structure. So the who factor, we talked about this in very detail. Who participates in the decision making process and their particular role. As I discussed that, or not in B2B marketing, a single person is not involved in the decision making process. There are different committees, different people, different um, uh, people holding key positions at the leadership, playing different leadership role. They are involved into this process, and this comprises of a structure that makes the decision. An essential point to understand in organization buying is that the buyer or the purchasing officer is often not only the person who influences the decision or who actually has a authority to make the ultimate decision. There are so many people are involved into this decision making process, or all these people comprises of a unit called decision making unit. We talked about the process in detail also. There are different steps. Need recognition is the basic step, then determination of characteristic specification and the quantity of the needed item, search for and the qualification of potential sources. It has to be carefully decided which supplier to be chosen. There are so many different vendors available. All the different criteria need to be considered. Acquisition and analysis of process is also important. Then evaluation of the process and selection of followed by selection of supplier. Selection of an order routine is also important. What at what time, what frequency a organization want to make purchases, and then finally the performance feedback and evaluation. Performance feedback is about the performance of the supplier also, how the supplier is making supplies, quality of the material also, and then accordingly everything is evaluated and further decision is made to continue with that supplier in future. So this is the process that could be discussed later on in a different video also, that involves organizational buying behavior process. So this is a elaborated process that we'll cover later. Content, this is what we already covered. Content is the material or the what value we are seeking as an organization. We are always looking for some vendor, some supplier to provide us to get us some supplies of the raw material or the whatever the items, whatever the material we required in the manufacturing process or in the production. So this is the content. This content is in the physical format. But when we talk about services, if we are involved in the development of services, then the content may not be physically the content may not be physically available. This may be the talent of the individual, this may be the intellect, this may be the intellectual services also, effort also. So proceeding further, the importance of B2B buying behavior, we'll talk about two key reasons why this is so important. The size of the business market may offer many opportunities for the market. Number two, many firms are trying to increase profit by improving purchasing practices. Now, there are the three factors, different factors affecting organizational buying behavior. Now, before getting into the detail of the buying process, we need to understand what are the important factors that affect organizational buying behavior. So, there are the three factors given by Cardozo. Number one factor is the buying class. Number two is the product type. Third is the importance of the purchase to the organization, to the buying organization. So buying class, like what is the nature of the buying? Straight rebuy, modify rebuy, new rebuy. That will cover in the next slide in detail. And second factor is product type. What type of the product we are purchasing as an organization? And third is the importance of purchase to the organization, to the buying organization, how much importance we are mm, giving to the purchase process, how much that process or the buying and the raw material is important for us. Now, buying class, there are three different further subcategories: straight rebuy, modified rebuy, new new task. And when we talk about product, the product may be again different type of institutional product or industrial product that are there in B2B marketing. So these type of product may be like uh, uh, different product facilities also, different product constituents also, different spare parts also, and MRO also, maintenance, repair, and overall also. So these are the different product categories. And third one was the importance of purchase. The citation is also mentioned in the slide. Now, buying decision, when we talk about this buying decision grid, there are three types of buying decisions: new task, modified rebuy, straight rebuy. New task means the newness of the problem, like we are engaging any vendor, any supplier for the very first time. Information required is maximum. Lot of information is required when we are going to start a deal for the very first time. And consideration of new alternative is also important. We need to consider about different vendors, different suppliers. Second is modified rebuy. Modified rebuy means we had already done the purchase earlier, but now we want to make any changes in our purchase decision from the same supplier, same vendor. So the problem is not new. So this may be medium in this case, and in much of information is not required, and we have a very limited options to consider to discuss. Third category is straight rebuy. Straight rebuy means if we had done the purchase earlier from the same vendor, from the same supplier, then the problem may not be new. We may not require any additional information also, and no need of any alternatives. We directly place more order for the more quantities. More quantity is ordered, keeping the same terms and conditions, same commercial terms. Now let's talk about the second factor affecting the organizational buying behavior. This is product type. Different types of products, maybe like as I discussed earlier, products required for maintenance, repair, or MROs product, and then some equipments product which are required for manufacturing different product facilities. And there are different constituents also. Material may be used for the production process. For example, steel component may be used or incorporated in the finished products. Like for example, many mechanical part, mechanical item, and then capital item may be required for the plant or the for the factory for the development of the different types of product and services. For that, talking about this product type, so there are different categories. Product can be classified into four types, like material, component, plant and equipment, and then MRO. This MRO we discussed in the previous slide also. We talked about plant and equipment also. Component, again, they may be electronic spare part, they may be raw material, they may be consumable or non-consumable item. They different types of quality also. Material, again, material may be different type of material, raw material also, generally that we get from the nature, and some material are manufactured or assembled again, then recreated, maybe with the help of some chemical also. Now, factor affecting organization buying behavior, third factor. So this is the third factor. So importance of the purchase. Now, how much weightage the organization is giving to the purchase process. The purchasing is a very crucial function for any organization, and it is a function of buying goods and services from the external source by an organization. So purchase department buys raw materials, spare parts, services as required by the company or the organization. Now there are different developments we can see in the purchases practices. For example, just in time. It is like this concept aims at minimizing the stocks by organizing a supply item which provide material component as they are required. If an organization is not interested to keep the stock available, or they don't want to invest into the raw material or the stock, then they may be utilizing this strategy just in time. They may be ordering these raw material, these items as and when required. Then we have another category, leasing. Leasing is a contract by which one party conveys land, property, services, etc. to another for a specified time, usually in return for a periodic payment. So a lease is a contract by which the owner of an asset grants the right to use the asset for a period of time to another party in exchange for payment of rent. Then again, there are different types of leases like financial lease or full payment lease, operating lease. These are the different types of lease. If some organization is not ready to invest, or maybe because of limited resources, limited funding, and then these type of organization go for the leasing of some infrastructure, some resources, some assets. If we talk, consider an example of a beverage industry in our country, India, we can see that this practice is commonly followed, the leasing of the bottling plant and leasing of the factories. So these practices followed by many organizations when there is a requirement of large funding or large infrastructure is required. Then again, moving further, when we talk about the developments, more developments in purchasing practices, then central purchasing is also done. When several operating units are there in a company, there are the companies having different units at different locations. Then sometimes central purchasing is also done, and system purchasing is a concept. It is the desire by buyer to acquire completely systems rather than individual component. Assembled product, for example, they are directly purchased. So this is again a different type of purchasing. Reverse marketing is a concept which is very popular. It is a concept in which the customer seeks the firm rather than marketer seeking a customer. So sometimes the material is also need to is also sent back, or sometimes the material which, or in term of wastage, it is the responsibility of the organization also to collect back that raw material or the wastage material. Usually this is done through the traditional means of advertising, such as television advertising or even advertising through different media. So it is a purchasing, like purchase in case of reverse marketing, purchasing taken on more proactive, aggressive stance in acquiring the product and services need to complete this process, whereby this is the process whereby the buyer attempts to persuade the suppliers to provide exactly what an organization wants. So this is known as reverse marketing. It also provides an opportunity to develop a stronger and longer relationship between the buyer and the seller. This could be a source of new product opportunity also that may be developed to a broader customer base. So on the screen, you can see the process of reverse marketing, how this is implemented. We can see there is a supplier and buyer, and they are how this reverse marketing process takes place. So buyer takes initiative to persuade supplier, and supplier sells the products by taking initiative. So in case of reverse marketing, the buyer actually takes the interest, takes the initiative, and persuades supplier to provide whatever the raw material or whatever the semi-finished goods that particular organization wants. Whereas in case of traditional marketing, the supplier sells by taking initiative. Suppliers approach to different types of organizations, different types of buyers, and they try to convince them with their offering, with their whatever the products or the raw material items they have. Whereas in case of reverse marketing, the organization is already done with some survey, done with some research work, and they look for the best vendor, best supplier, and then they try to persuade supplier to offer their requirement as per the mutually terms and conditions agreed. So moving after developments in purchasing practices, we have a very emerging and a very popular concept, so-called buying center. Now, buying center is what? Buying center is a group of individuals within a company who collectively participate in the complex purchasing decisions for products or services. Now, it is a setup which comprises of so many different people within the organization, and it is a makeup of buying center. So this makeup of buying center may vary as the decision changes. Now, this includes more than a purchasing department or a purchasing function. As I mentioned, it is made up of people throughout the organization at all level. When we talk about B2B marketing, we can discuss about role of the buying center. Role of buying center could be easily explained with the help of five key influencers, okay, which comprises of users, influencers, deciders, gatekeepers, sponsors. Users means the individual who will use the raw materials, semi-finished goods, or the products or the services within the organization. Okay, and then influencer is the this is about those people, those individuals who influences the decisions, like the technical people. For example, a organization engaged in the manufacturing of automotive product or automobile or any technical product, gadgets, equipments, then uh, technical people are the people or the technician are directly involved, directly engaged in the production or the manufacturing of such products. So they are also a key influences. They influences the decision making process. We have third category, which is deciders. Deciders are the key person having authority, people with the authority in an organization to decide, to make the final decisions, because a lot of financial implications are also there. So that is the reason some responsible people or the people having authority takes the final decisions about going for purchases. Fourth is gatekeeper. When we talk about gatekeeper, the term gatekeeper indicates the individuals who control the flow of information about the staff, about the organization. So they again they play a key role in facilitating or in helping in the meeting of buyer as well as seller. Now we have fifth category, which is sponsors. When we talk about sponsor, doesn't mean the commercial sponsor. Sponsors means within the organization. These are the individual in the organization itself who advocates for the purchase of any specific product, raw material or services. They they advocates, they support the decision, or they channelize the decisions. They facilitate this process, entire process of buying any product or services within the organization. And this is about the buying center. So now I hope this is a interesting topic, and we'll further proceed with the buying process, organizational buying process, in next video. Thank you so much.